I'm Paula. I teach Pilates at Pilates with Paula in Dunmow in the High Street. I've got a studio there. So I'm just recording a short, kind of a restorative Pilates class. The reason I'm doing a very easy class, just a stretching class, is because I don't know anybody. I don't know what ailments you have, if anybody's got any shoulder, back issues. So I thought I'd keep it really nice, low level class. So this is your challenge for the day, if you'd like to join in. So I have got a band. You could use, instead of a band, something like a scarf, a long scarf, or if you've got a cord from a bathrobe, anything like that, that might help to get a little bit of stretching through the legs. So we'll start lying on our backs. You can use a cushion if you want to underneath your head. You might not need it, but if you've got a chin that's sort of pushing out, there's a good chance you probably need a little bit more support for your skull. So if we're coming down to lie side on, always come onto your side first and then lie on your back and roll onto your back. Okay, so we'll start with the, first of all, scanning over our body, see exactly what's happening. Okay, so we can tell a lot of what's going on in our bodies just by just lying here for a moment, and I want you to separate the two parts of your body by thinking of a centre line that's going right through the nose, through the chin, breastbone, belly button, out through the pubic bone. Okay, so you've cut yourself in half, you've got your left side and the right side of the body. Now, there's usually a good chance, or there is a good chance, that there's something different going on each side. One side is usually stronger than the other. So what we're going to do is start with the right leg out straight, keeping the left foot on the floor. I'm going to put some weight through my left heel and toes and lift just the left hip up, not bringing the shoulder or the rib cage up off the floor, the top of the ribs anyway, and then just roll that hip back down into the floor. Can you see I'm just rolling towards the right side of the body and then bringing it back in again. So as I press into the left foot, what I'm trying to do is engage the glutes and the hamstrings and the back of the left leg. Okay, that's going to just assist me by reaching out through the knee, opening out through the front of the left hip and getting some rotation in the spine, something that we lack a lot of through not rotating the rib cage. We end up giving ourselves a little bit of an issue with the lower back, and that's usually around L4, 5 and S1. So if that relates to you, you need to do a little bit more rotation of the spine. So just drop that left hip back down, slide the right foot in, extend the left leg out, and we'll repeat the same thing. So what I'm trying to do is keep that right knee in line with my rib cage. I'm not letting the knee rotate inwards and lifting the little toe off the floor. So I can feel all the 5 toes on the floor, from my big toe to my little toe, the heel, so those 3 points. Let's do 2 more. 1 more, and bring it back in. So we've got the band. I'm going to keep this right foot on the floor. With a piece of band or whatever you might have, you're going to hook that round and over the toes and the ball of the foot of the left foot. I'm just going to curl up a little bit just to get that on my foot. So if you've got the band, make sure it's flat across the toes and the ball of the foot. Extend the leg up to the ceiling, cross it over to stop it flicking off and giving you a black eye. Head down, elbows down, shoulders underneath you, and also all 12 ribs are on the floor. So that leg is still in line with my outside, my rib cage, as is the right foot. So I'm weight bearing that right foot as well. So push out through the left heel to straighten. If you've got a bit more flexibility, a bit more mobile, you can stretch that right leg out along the floor as well. Okay, just hold the stretch. You might find, if you're not particularly mobile just yet, the leg might be down here, and that's okay. All right? Don't beat yourself up, you're here actually doing something, so it's brilliant. So deep breath in, and I'm going to drop this left leg to the right, but if you've got hip replacement, can you not do that please, because that can pop it out the joint, and we don't want that happening either. So I'm just being really cautious because I don't know any of you. Okay, let's take that over to the left, opening out through the left hip. Just watch this centre line. So you don't want this right hip coming off the floor. So keep that down, keep the shoulder down. And we're going to settle that leg down, around and up. Small circles to begin with, and if you're a bit more advanced with it, perhaps you could take it into bigger circles. So I'm trying to keep that centre line down the middle of my body straight, so I'm not rocking and rolling around with the body. I'm just moving the left leg, and then take that round to the left, down, around and up. Now you can give and take the hands a little bit, or you can do what I'm doing, which is holding the band quite tight. Okay, you can play around with it. 2, 1, and bend it back in there. Before we put the other one on, just take that off and stretch the left leg out. And just doing that, I can already feel my left leg feels longer, looser. This one feels all tight and tense, all compressed. Okay, so let's bend that right leg in. Actually bend both legs, and then we're just going to curl up. Put that across the toes and ball of the feet. Just make sure you use your tummy muscles to curl yourself up. Straighten the right leg, elbows on the floor, head down, and then find the neutral position. Okay, stretch the left leg out if you can. Hold the stretch with the right leg. And so again, don't worry if your leg's down here, it's fine. If you're feeling a stretch in the hamstrings there, no problem at all. The aim is to slowly get it higher, but not forcing it there, because all you'll do is push your back down and you'll bend this knee just to get it higher. It's not about that, okay? Right leg over to the left. Just watch that hip replacement, don't go this way. You can go this way though, right leg out to the right. Keep pulling on the left side of the band to stop the hip going too far. And then we'll circle that, small circles or large. You know how you feel. Down, around and up. Let's take it back the other way. So I'm trying not to tense up through the neck and the shoulders. Okay, so just keep it a little looser in that band. Give and take with the hands if you find your neck is tightening. Last one there, bring it back in. Take the band away and place that to the side. So we still haven't got anything underneath the head, but if you have, just take that away now. We're going to go into a little bridge movement. Before we go into full bridge, I want you to separate your pelvis from the lumbar, from the thoracics, and then you've got your cervical part of your spine. So you've got 4 sections of the spine. Okay, so feel the weight of your feet, your glutes here and your hamstrings through the back here. All 4 hamstrings are going to be working. So what we want to do is just press the weight of the feet into the floor, knees in line with the rib cage, and then just lift the tailbone up and the sacrum up, which is part of the tailbone, and then put it back down onto the floor. Okay, and just see if that feels okay first. As I'm keeping it low level, I wouldn't normally keep it as such a low level as this because I can't see anybody to chain anybody. I would normally be there, hands on, face to face, but as I'm not, I just want to be a bit more cautious with everybody, okay? So glutes and hamstrings are starting to engage, and then we go up to the lower back, but we're not lifting those lower ribs up just yet, and then put the lower back on the floor and the bottom on the floor. What you don't want to do, I'll just move my arms out of the way, is when you come down is just arch the back and pop those ribs. You want to feel that all 12 ribs as you come down are staying on the floor. If you can't, the other option is just to keep those arms up here, and that helps to keep the ribs down. Okay, so I'm coming up a little bit more now, I'm lifting up those ribs. Now just hang out here for a moment and just notice if you've dropped one hip. Are you getting cramp? If you're getting cramp, it's likely you're using your hamstring and there's no work going on that glute on that side. Okay, so keep reaching out through the knees, breathe in. Start to roll down through each set of ribs until your lower back and your pelvis comes down last. Can you feel how your butt cheeks have just let go? So imagine you've got a little marble under your butt cheeks. Scoop it up. Reach the knees out. Deep breath in. No hyperextending, so you don't want to go up off the shoulders. So just drop. Roll down through the rib cage, down through the lower back, down with the tailbone. Tip the pelvis, weight into the feet. Find those glutes. Remember we picked up a little marble with those butt cheeks. Hold it, breathe in. Roll down through the rib cage. Don't let go of your bottom until your sit bones hit the floor. Again, tailbone under. Send those knees away. Open out these hip flexors and the quads. Tighten up the back of the body and roll it back down. Hold it here. Take the right arm back and bring it back up towards the ceiling. Left one back. If you have got any shoulder issues, by the way, don't go so far back. Okay, can you see I'm keeping my elbows straight? And then if you just place your right hand across onto your left collarbone and drop your left arm back, can you just feel how your shoulder blade, sorry, not your shoulder blade, your collarbone, I'm just going to bring that arm forwards. Can you feel how your collarbone is turning? It's like a little key, turns and then turns back again. As that turns and goes back, you can feel underneath the back of the rib cage, the shoulder blade slides down. That's your scapula. Okay, do the same on the other side. Arm down, hand on the left collarbone, drop the arm back and forward. So if you're getting any pain, just make it a smaller range of movement. But the main thing is getting these bones moving. That's usually why, or often why, you've got a shoulder issues. There's lots of different reasons. Okay, mainly you're too tight in the muscles in the chest and these ones are too loose at the back, so there's an imbalance going on. Both arms together and bring it back in. So as I take my arms back, I'm keeping my ribs on the floor and I'm not trying to push my lower lumbar into the floor and lift my tailbone up. You can still keep your back in what we call neutral as your arms go back and forth. So if you're finding when your arms go back, your rib cage is arching off the floor, that's because you're too tight here. All right, so go back as far as you can. Feel the stretch in the chest and into the arms and keep these ribs on the floor and down. Now, if you want to, you could bring one or both legs up. If you do Pilates already, you can bring one leg up to 90 degrees or two legs up to 90 degrees. It's up to you. Okay, if you're not used to it, you can probably get away with just one leg raised up. Okay, so that knee needs to be in line with the rib cage. Take a breath in as you drop back. Circle around as you breathe out. So I'm just going to take it up to that next level, but please do not do this if you've got any issues, any back issues, because you'll probably end up just arching the back and won't be able to control it. You need to build up the strength in the stomach slowly. Circle it back the other way, perhaps change over to the other leg if you're working with a single leg. Okay, just watch the shoulders. Is it giving you any pain? You keep it smaller range of movement. Good, last one. Bring the arms down by your side, place a foot on the floor and be rolling over to the right hand side. Grab your cushion or your block, whatever you might have. If you're quite broad in your shoulders, you might need two cushions underneath your head. Okay, so let's stretch the arms out in front of you. So cushion underneath. The left hand is going to slide down the right hand towards the outside of the fingers and then slide it back up to the fingers so they're level. Now pull back with your left shoulder without bending the elbow, so keep the elbows straight, and then notice how your rib cage starts to roll. So you go forwards, roll the rib cage forwards and rotate it back. So can you feel how your rib cage is rotating around your spine? Okay, and as you rotate your rib cage, it's causing the vertebra to slightly rotate up into the neck, cervical part of the spine, and just below that into the thoracic. So now I'm going to pick the left arm up. What I don't want to do is let my knees lift off the ground now. So left arm comes up, right one stays on the floor. Open the left part of the chest and open it up, and then breathe out to bring it back in. Do it really slow, up and open. Follow your hand with your eyes. and bring it back in. Sometimes in my classes I teach to close the right eye. Keep the left eye open and just keep watching the left hand with the right eye closed. It's really good for your balance. Though not balancing, it's giving you a sense of waking up your senses. One more, and you could take that round into a circle, but I don't tend to teach it unless I'm there, because if you've got any issues with your shoulder, that can hurt. Okay, left hand onto the hip, and then I'm just going to push that hip away. Can you see as I pushed it away, it lifted my waist, because when I'm lying on my side, I need my spine to be straight, not curved. Okay, so lift the ribs up slightly, straighten out the top leg, the bottom leg is bent, you can bring that slightly forwards. Shoulders are stacked on top of each other. We're going to kick the left leg forwards and then kick it back. Now when you first start the side kick, what the body wants to do is the upper body wants to swing back and forth. But what we're trying to do is mobilise the hip joint. So as the leg goes back, I'm stretching through the left side of the body, and as the leg comes forwards, I'm lengthening and stretching the hamstrings. Okay, so what I don't want is the upper body swinging. You could do it like that, but we're trying to stabilise the upper body. Now bring that left leg back, find the glutes. Left leg up and down. Breathe out and in. Now can you see I'm not going that high? So if I want to use my glutes properly, it's not about how high you can get it. Because if you go high, you're probably twisting your pelvis. You're probably doing that. Okay, so it's an up and back, 2, 1, and bend the knee. Left hand on the floor, push yourself all the way up to sit, and we're changing sides. Okay, so take your cushion, straight into arms out in front first. You could always change the class around. You could always perhaps do the leg exercises first and then do the book openings, etc. afterwards. So feet and knees are stacked. Waist is lifted off the floor very slightly, not too much. Slide it down and then rotate the head. Don't need to close your right eye just yet, or your left eye. Okay, so stretching the rhomboids in between the shoulder blades. And when we're opening out the ribs, and we lift the arm up, keep the pelvis and the legs still, rotate, and then bring it back in. Long breath out, bring it back in. So as I come in, I'm asking part of my abdominal muscles to help me come back in. They're the obliques, internal, external obliques are pulling me back in. Open the chest. Notice how your center line is now not straight. So when you open up, can you feel how everything's open through the middle of the body? So you're not keeping that straight line anymore. Again, you could put me on pause and start to circle the arm around overhead, for example, and then circle back the other way. Just do 4 or 5 each direction. Okay, so we're here, we're going to bring the knees up a bit higher, hand on the hip, float the right leg, push it out straight, lift the waist up, so there's a gap, so the spine is in straight, kick the leg forwards and back. In breath, out breath. In, out. Stretch the front of the leg, stretch the back of the leg. Open the hip. So as you go back, can you feel how your bottom muscles are contracting? Hold it here. We're going up and back. 1, 2. So once you get stronger with these exercises, you can add on more repetitions. So I usually start with about 8, and then I can go to 10, 12, and up to 15, depending on how hard you want to work. There is different levels, so the next level would be straight legs or floating the bottom leg, etc. But you work towards that. Last one. and bring it back in. Well done. Lower the leg, flip yourself onto your back and just give the lower back a bit of a stretch out. So bring one knee into the chest, then the other leg, just hug the knees in, place the hands on the knees and then circle the knees. Keep the feet together, so separate the knees, bring them back in. Now we're going to move onto hands and knees. So if you have any wrist or knee issues, can you go and place yourself up against the wall or something, a table or chair, something like that. Something that's fairly stable though, and then circle back the other way. Okay, just loosen the back, loosen the hips. So one foot down on the floor, then the other foot. Then we roll to the side, and this is a correct way to get yourself in and out of bed as well. Okay, so if you've got knee issues, bring yourself up against a wall. If you're okay, can you come into this 4-point kneeling position, which is called a quadruped. All right, so can you see if I dip my back, that's extension. Okay, all my stomach muscles are just relaxed. Right, so what I want to do is make sure I'm not tucking my bottom under and keeping my back curved. I do want it to be neutral, so that's not neutral, neither is that. So you want to tip it back and forth like a pelvic tilt until you find somewhere between the two, you can keep it there. Right, now I want you to go into a flexion. So I want you to start at your bottom, tucking your bottom under, sending that tailbone down towards the back of the knees. Allow the pubic bone to move forwards, the belly button to pull up towards the back of the ribs, and then shoulder blades separate and the head hanging forwards. Now move from your tailbone, tip the pelvis, feel your pelvis roll over the top of the thigh bones, and then lift the chest up. Again, come to neutral. Tailbone under, draw the spine up. Can you feel how your stomach muscles are pulling slightly inwards? Separate the shoulder blades, breathe in. Push the tailbone away, chest is coming up. Now if you're feeling there's too much in your wrist, put a bit more weight through the shin bones. So maybe take the legs back a bit so you haven't got this pain across the front of the wrist, or you could have a cushion here with your fingers pointing on the front of it, the heel of the hand on. Okay, so there's a couple of options. And we do one more. Tailbone tucks under, arch the back up, take it back to neutral. Now if you have got any knee issues, come down and lie on your back for me. I'm going to show you something else you're going to do. If you haven't got any knee issues, just go slightly wider and further out with the hands. Bring your right knee into the centre of the mat, stretch the left leg out and flip it over the top of your right foot, and then slide that straight leg out. You're going to feel that stretch in this right butt cheek. It's actually deeper, it's in your hip rotator, so your piriformis muscle. So your glutes over the top, piriformis is underneath, so that's stretching that out. You might find you can only get to here and that'd be quite painful. Right, so you slowly over weeks and weeks get to that point where you can stretch into there. So if that's giving you knee pain, stay with that for a minute. I'm just going to show you something else. If you've got knee pain, lie on your back, opposite hand to knee and put it across. Okay, that's the other option. Right, so we're just going to switch over. So either switch over by bringing the right knee, left knee up to right hand, or if your knees are okay, left knee in the centre, right leg over the top and slide it out on that diagonal, coming down onto the elbows. Okay, give it a little wiggle side to side. And that deepens the stretch. So it might be quite painful to start with. There might be some of you going, oh. It's quite normal. Right, so you will get to this point, but it will take you a few weeks, maybe even a few months to get there, depending on how tight you are. So drop your bottom round to the side and bring yourself around to sit, wherever that might be comfortably. And just want to say thank you to you all for watching. Hope it helps you. And if you need me or need some advice or anything, please get in touch. The studio is actually closed in Dunmow at the moment in the High Street, but we are still running some Zoom classes, and recording some for YouTube. Behind me, you might be wondering what that is. That's called a motor. It's a cross between a foam roller and a reformer. So I have reformer classes in Dunmo. What else do we do? Mat classes, bar classes, etc. And rehab, because I'm a clinical rehab Pilates instructor. Okay, anyway, have a great time. Not great times, but hope you're okay and stay safe and well, everybody. Thank you.